Happy snowy Sunday, everyone. I hope you're staying warm. I hope you're staying in or maybe even preparing to go out and play. But today I have just a very brief sermon based on today's lectionary gospel, which is John chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. On the third day, there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. And when the wine gave out, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "Woman, what concern is that to you and to me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now standing there were 6 stone water jars for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 or 30 gallons. And Jesus said to them, "Fill the jars with water," and they filled them up to the brim. He said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the chief steward." So they took it. And when the steward tasted the water that had become wine and did not know where it had come from, though the stewards who had drawn the water knew, the steward called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and then the inferior wine after the guests have become drunk. But you have kept the good wine until now." Jesus did this, the first of his signs in Cana of Galilee, and revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. So 2021 for me was a year of weddings. I performed 3 wedding ceremonies in 3 months, and some of those weddings were for people I knew really well, and some of those weddings were for total strangers. Some of those weddings were held at dreamlike venues, while others were simple but elegant affairs. And as I look back on those services, I've noticed that no matter the cost or the setting of these weddings, there was always a transformation. At one, I saw a coal miner who had never owned a suit in his life put on a rented one to sit beside his wife and watch his son be married. At another wedding, I saw a mother and father of the bride who had spent lavishly on their daughter's wedding give heartfelt speeches about the simple things in their lives that they were thankful for. But apart from these transformations of clothes and setting, of heartfelt speeches, other transformations take place at weddings as well. In fact, a wedding is one of the most reliable ways to see someone transformed. Couples come before God and their loved ones as committed, but they leave as wed. And through the bonds of matrimony, they have promised that with God's help, they will forsake all others for the benefit of their beloved for the rest of their days. And we, as witnesses to this lifelong and insanely hard commitment, we dress and transform in our finest clothes. We serve our best food and drink. We become, or at least pretend to be, our best selves just to attend this occasion. Our gospel lesson on this snowy Sunday tells us about a wedding, but it picks the story up immediately after the service. Our story begins after the vows have been made, when the rented tux jacket is already on the back of the chair and the ties are loose around people's necks. The bride and groom, who were once so nervous, are now sitting at the head table enjoying themselves, relaxing now that the vows have been made and the service went well. But then the waiter whispers that the party has hit a snag. The wine is running low. When I was a teenager, I worked at an event center as a banquet server, and I have worked as a waiter at many wedding receptions. And at many of those receptions, if the news came that the wine was running low, I would be glad. Many times, excesses of anything, particularly alcohol, can be harmful or embarrassing, but that's a discussion for another time. Today is a time to see the significance of Jesus' first miracle. Mary asked Jesus for help in this minor matter, and if Jesus had said no, it would have dampened a wedding reception, but it certainly wouldn't have been the end of the world. He says to her, "It isn't yet my time," but Jesus does it anyways, and because He did, we are witnessing more than a party trick. This scene with the wedding in the wine is just a glimpse of the compassion yet to come. In Isaiah 25, it states, "The Lord will destroy the shroud that it cast over all peoples. He will swallow up death forever. He'll wipe away the tears from all faces. On this mountain he will make for all peoples a feast of rich food, a feast of well-aged wines." This introductory miracle is just a glimpse of the greater things that Jesus is yet to do among us. It is just a glimmer of God's compassion that we too can point to, that we too can live into. It is our opportunity to remind ourselves that God shows compassion among the troubled, the suffering, the struggling. It is our reminder. That we are living in a world where God pours out compassion as freely as it flows as wine at a wedding. And may we too pour out that same compassion as generously as our Lord pours it out among us.